Well, welcome back. We're back in the hobby room. It's a bit colder, which is why I've got my skiing jacket on, but warm enough to get a few bits and pieces done. Had a comment from somebody from the last video. They were asking about the size of the layout. It's 1.5-ish meters long by about 40 centimeters wide. Potentially you could put a fiddle yard on it, but I really don't have space to do that, so I'm not sure whether that will ever happen. Like I said, it's very much to try some new things out and not necessarily a long-term enterprise, but you never know with trains. Sometimes they just keep going. So we'll see how this goes. So today I thought we'd start off by seeing if we could get some block detection set up and working. I've read the manuals, I've looked at the videos. I'm still not absolutely certain how to do it and how to set this my Z21 up. So I guess we're all going to learn as I do it. So let's see what happens, and let's move over to the layout. See you in a bit. Okay, so here's the detector. We've got the R-bus link already linked in, and that goes over to the Z21, plugs in at the back. And the next thing is to look at how we wire this up. So we're wiring up the back track, which we see is this one here. This is the one furthest away. Everything's going to be done on the red wires, and the other red wires are linked in here to a power system, but this one now comes into here, and this wire actually needs to go into this second port here, and then this will go into this port here on the Z21. The power goes into the Z21 here, and this is the power connector, which is already connected up. So I'm going to finish off connecting this up, and then we'll come back and see how it goes together and see if we can get something working. Okay, here we are. The Z21 detector is linked into the Z21 controller. The blue light is on, saying that everything's wired up. The app's loaded, so we go to the control station. Now we've got to put in a detector. So we want the response module. We'll just locate that over there. Then we go into the type. So we've got a 10819. We click on that. The address is already loaded because this is the first one. So we just need to press that once and save. So we left off having set the detector up, and we've got it working on one part, but when I tried to program the other lines, it just didn't work. And I've spent the best part of a day chasing down faults, some of which were based on the layout, but mostly based on that very common fault, human error. And I'll take you through some of that and what I learnt in doing it. number one probably is to read the instructions. That really does help. So we'll take a look at the layout. It's all active now. So the detector is now mounted on the side of the board. Doesn't look very elegant, but it means that you can see all the light changes that happen down the bottom here, and the programming switch is in the bottom here. So if I need to reprogram anything, it's a lot easier. And remember, this is a test layout to test out new ideas. So let's take a look underneath. Okay, so a bit closer in to where the connections are. This is handheld, so it'll be a bit wobbly at times. But this is the connector block here, which originally was part of the power bus. That's been disconnected, and now all the power feeds from the rails go into the bottom here, and then out the top here, it goes up through the back here, and then round here to the detector. And then on the other side of the board, it's exactly the same, but we have some longer wires here, which are just loose at the moment. And when I finally get this everything working, I'm happy they'll be bundled together and made nice and neat. But at least now I can see where everything is, and there's less chance of any error in putting it together. So let's take a look now at the detector working, and I'll go through where I made some mistakes. So back in a minute. So here we have the layout on the app system, and if I put the train on this part of the track here, then you can see that it lights up red, and as I move the loco to different tracks, then lo and behold, it lights up as it should do. And we can look at that in action. If we put the loco over here, and we'll run it down here to this section here. So loco is now moving along, and it's coming up over the point here, across the triple and into the siding, and now the red light has come on. If we stop the loco and return it, then we can see it travels along the line here, crosses the point, and the light goes out, and then we come back into the other side and the red light comes on. So let's look at now how you set it up via the app. You go into the control station. This is what I went through before, and then you click on whichever one you want to set up, and you go into the section. Now this is where I made my first mistake. You can see this is input 8 on the bottom here, and it's on the reporter address should be 1, because the detector that I'm using is number 1. I was putting the input in the top line and treating the input as the detector identifier. The instructions are very clear, and if you read the settings app, you can see this says 1 to 16. So why I did that, I have no idea. But anyway, I did, and that caused a lot of confusion for some time because nothing worked at all. So the second fault I made, and this first came to light over here. I set this one up here perfectly okay, programmed these 3, and it just didn't work. And when I looked at the detector, the blue light wasn't on permanently. It was 2 short flashes and 1 long flash. I had no idea what that meant. I reset it. I went back to factory settings. I tried everything I could think of. And then I got my multimeter out and I checked all the isolation connections. And lo and behold, I discovered that on this part here, it wasn't isolated. So got the Dremel out, isolated it, bingo, works perfectly. Everything was fine. Same thing happened over on this side. I set that up. I got the blue light flashing again, 2 short flashes, 1 long flash, and thought, well, it's got to be a short. Found the short, used the Dremel, sorted it out, worked perfectly. So the only other part was I had mixed up the wiring for this one and this one. So when the train was parked here, this one was turning red. So that was easy to solve. So the 3 points where I got it wrong was not realizing the input line, not having it isolated properly, and then mixing up some wires. Okay, so that's all for now. I hope that's been helpful for anybody who's thinking about setting up a basic block detection system. Obviously I haven't gone into how you use it and make it actually purposeful. Seeing the occupancy on the app is nice and has a few uses, but really it comes into its own on a layout where you're using some level of automation or you're running multiple trains. And that's something that I will go into when I've built my larger layout, because I plan to use block detection on that. So that's all for now. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. Bye for now.